Shift it. Here we go. Here we go. Ready to do this thing? Wind it up.
Sorry about the delay.
We were talking about drop smash fix.
Yep, this might be happening to my phone. Bear with me just a minute.
All right.
5 minutes.
How close do I get? How far away? I think good. Whatever. Are we okay like this? That's good?
A little bit closer when you're talking
Closer to the
mic, that's
camera.
right.
Okay, all right.
Just identify yourself, spell your name first off.
Okay, so my name is Elliot Simpson. I'm an aviation accident investigator from the National Transportation Safety Board. So I'll give you a quick briefing on the accident so far. This was airplane involved was a kit-built Vans Aircraft RV-10, registration number November 8757 Romeo. It was construction was completed in 2011. It's a 4-seat, single-engine aluminum airplane, and it was based out of Fullerton Airport. So the airplane departed from runway 24 at Fullerton about 2 p.m. this afternoon, climbed straight ahead to about 900 feet, and a short time later the pilot called for an immediate return to the airport. The tower controller then cleared the pilot to land on any runway. The airplane then appeared to make a 180-degree left turn and flew the left downwind for runway 24, and ultimately crashed about 1,000 feet short of runway 24. Struck a furniture building and immediately caught fire. And so far we have 2 confirmed fatalities, but we don't have any names or IDs. The coroner will be able to provide that at some point in the future. The plan is to continue the on-scene investigation tomorrow within the facility, and then have the airplane recovered probably tomorrow evening or late afternoon. And then the investigation will continue at a remote storage facility throughout the weekend. Preliminary report should be on our website, that's ntsb.gov, in about 14 days. And then the final factual report will take about 12 to 18 months to complete. So with that, any questions?
Did the pilot actually state the reason for the emergency or what he believed the emergency was?
No, pilot just said ask for an immediate return to the airport.
And he was clear, there was nothing standing in his way at all. He just had a clear line of sight to the airport, but he just didn't.
It was at 900 feet, so this would have been about traffic pattern altitude, so you can presume that it was clear.
If he lost power, would he be able to have made it all the way in, do you think? Or
it's a little bit too early to make those kind of assumptions based on the data we have.
2 souls on board, pilot and...
Well, all we can say right now is 2 fatalities. We don't have any IDs, so we can't confirm.
We don't know how many people were on board of the plane?
Both on board the plane?
We're not sure yet. So because we don't have IDs, we can't really confirm
So the
whether
fatalities
they
are
were.
on board or on the ground?
We don't know because we haven't been able to ID them yet.
Do the noise regulations on the airport, just like in Santa Monica, have anything to do, or might have something to do with the accident?
I'm sorry, the noise regulations? Oh, I see. It would be, I would say no at this point, but it's a little too early to make any kind of judgment along those lines, or compare it to Santa Monica.
So the plane didn't have an airworthiness certificate. What does that mean?
Oh, it did. No, so it's a kit-built airplane. It's a very popular airplane. There's about 1,100 of them have been built, and about 11,000 Vans aircraft have been built. So it's a pretty popular kit-built airplane.
Because on what we pulled up, it said the airworthiness certificate none. So is that just?
It would be an experimental airplane. So we'd have to look into that in a little bit more detail. But it's a pretty standard airplane, and it's been flying for a long time.
Can you explain what is a kit airplane for some of us that are not experts in aviation?
Yeah, so it is what it is. It's actually a kit airplane that the owner of the airplane can build and maintain themselves. Provided they built it, they can continue to maintain it. It's just a kit airplane. The FAA, once it's been built, it's then inspected by either an FAA inspector or someone who's designated to work on behalf of the FAA. And then it's approved for flying.
So
yeah,
it's pretty common.
Very common. It's about 11,000 of these type of airplanes. 11,000 Vans aircraft flying, and about 1,100 RV-10 airplanes
In the
flying. So,
country?
yeah, in the world. So it's
Do they have
very
do
common.
they have a good safety record for the most part?
It's not really the place to talk about this company's safety record.
Well,
at
I'm
this
saying
point.
from a reliability standpoint and airworthiness, if we had, major
Again,
problems
this is
with
it's a little early to be talking about reliability and airworthiness. I think for
Out of those
for this
11
briefing.
Dawsoners, as many you said, how many of them have crashed?
Oh, I don't know the number off the top
And
of my
how
head.
long have
but,
the kit-built airplanes been around?
kit-built airplanes?
Yeah.
Since the beginning of aviation, essentially. Yeah.
Do you know
Yeah.
if this particular plane had issues before?
I don't. Not at this point. No. We're gonna locate the maintenance records, confirm that the airplane was current for its maintenance, and we'll really take it from there.
Question
I may have misheard, but someone
Yeah.
asked, did the plane lose power? Or
We're not. That's what we'll be looking into. The pilot simply said that he needed to return to the airport.
what did the flight plan say? Where were they headed?
So it's visual flight rules. There's no requirement to have a flight plan. So we don't know where the airplane was flying to at this point.
Total amount of time from takeoff to the point to where we had, unfortunately, the crash, what was it, less than 10 minutes?
Oh, less than 10 minutes. Yeah, I don't have the exact number. It was less than 10 minutes.
I was listening on the radio on
Yeah.
It's station, by the way, the recording of the tower.
Yeah.
Can you
That's where we're
comment-
getting our primary timing from,
can
the
you
recording of
comment
the tower.
anything on that? I mean, what you heard?
Not really. No. It's
Given the weather conditions of the time, there's no indication that that played in.
no. It was great weather. No, it doesn't appear that weather played a part at this point. It was 80 degrees, nice day, clear skies.
Question for the fire department, if they could jump forward for a second. Is there any problems with the building itself from a safety, structural integrity standpoint at this point? Hasn't been inspected. Can people go back in there and work tomorrow, or is it going to be closed for a while?
Can you identify yourself, please?
Sure, my name is Mike Meacham. I'm the Deputy Chief of Fire Operations for the City of Fullerton.
Regarding the integrity of the building, yeah.
So yeah, the integrity of the building. So the building has been red tagged by the building department. There was significant damage to the roof system, and for those reasons, and the fire protection system, for those reasons, we won't be allowing anybody in the building to do any work other than the investigators and the building department to do those inspections.
Are we talking perhaps 3 or 4 days or more before it could be reoccupied, or the cleanup crews could go in?
That'll be up to the building owner. The building will be turned back over to the property owner as soon as the NTSB is done with their investigation on the inside. They'll be turning it back over to them, and it'll be up to the property owner at how fast they occupy the building again.
How much damage was there done, both by fire and, of course, impact damage to the roof and to the area in there? Were you able to take a look at all?
Yeah, it would be hard to quantify how much damage, but there's significant damage to a portion of the building, both from the impact and from fire.
The owner of the warehouse said that all of his people were accounted for and they were all unharmed, or they possibly minor injuries taken to the hospital. Talk to me about how rare that might be with a fiery crash that we saw going into that building full of people.
I'm not sure how many people he has confirmed. The Fullerton Fire Department and the surrounding agencies, Orange County Fire, Anaheim, Huntington Beach, Fountain Valley, some other area resources, they treated and transported 20 people. Not all people were transported. Some people did sign out AMA, but we did transport several people to the hospital with varying degrees of injuries.
You're saying 20 now. Earlier we had 18, 10 hospitalized, 8 signed out, basically.
Yeah, our numbers right now are 20.
And of those, 10 in the hospital, 10 signed out?
I don't know what the breakdown is of how many. It's too early for me to go back through that paperwork.
Total of 20 injuries then.
20 people were treated.
And sir, a worker had described inside that when the plane crashed, they ran out and they saw some other co-workers dousing fellow co-workers with fire extinguishers. Is that your understanding?
I wasn't here at that time when that happened. I don't know what those first eyewitness accounts were.
And were the 2 fatalities, were they pronounced dead here at the scene, or were they trapped up?
That's information that we're not releasing yet.
So can you just confirm, the 20 people, does that include the 2 people who passed away?
That does not.
Okay.
So it's 20 and 2.
Yes. To the best of my knowledge, we're at 20 and 2 at this moment.
And just to confirm with the NTSB, we're not saying we don't know how many people were in the plane, or we're not
No, we don't know. We can't because we don't have any identifications.
Gotcha.
Can you talk at all about whether or not this plane had been flown before, if it was built in 2011 and then just
I'll let
sat there?
I'll let the NTSB handle.
Oh yeah, no, it's built in 2011, and the owner is based in Fullerton. So yeah, I don't have the exact time. We'll know when we look at the maintenance logbooks, but it has flown before. Yes.
Is this type of aircraft one that you only the person that built it can fly it?
Oh no, anyone can fly it.
Any pilot with
Anyone can
license
fly it,
can fly.
yeah.
Because there's unofficial reports that the pilot is in the hospital. Do we know anything about that?
I've not heard about that. No.
What is the range of this kit-built aircraft?
It could fly, off the top of my head, this is time range, it could probably fly to 5 to 6 hours at approaching 200 knots. So,
And again, will you just say the type of this kit?
yeah, it's a Vans Aircraft RV-10. So
Spell
Romeo
that-
Victor 10.
Spell that name.
Yeah, Vans Aircraft Victor Alpha November Sierra Aircraft, and it's Romeo Victor 10.
Romeo what?
Victor 10. And you have the registration number, you can look it up on the FAA database, and that'll give you the exact, more details.
This type of aircraft doesn't have a black box, does it?
No, it doesn't. It's not required to, but it has a fair amount of electronics on board that we can often extract data from pertaining to the
And
flight.
to recap all this, so the next step for you is to keep investigating. What
Yep.
are you going to base your next your findings on? The recordings of the
Combination of everything. So we'll obviously be looking at the wreckage tomorrow on scene within the factory, documenting as much as we possibly can. And we'll be walking around trying to get video camera footage, talking to witnesses. We'll be extracting the electronic data that's on board. And then from there, we'll remove it and we'll do a far more forensic investigation in a remote facility. Those are really the basic steps.
Just to be clear, when the pilot said they needed to return
Yep.
immediately after flying, the air tower said, yeah, this area is clear to land.
Yeah, immediately presumed there was an emergency. Actually stated the tower said immediate return. Yes, confirmed that it could immediately land any runway. The tower clearly knew there was a problem.
Thank you.
The
So-
tower
Can you
controller.
explain briefly? You said that this type of aircraft has no black box, but you're going to retrieve some electronic information from the plane.
Yeah, it has a fair amount of electronic avionics on
Such as
board.
what?
Sort of primary flight display. So essentially an electronic panel, a flight panel that shows most of avionics, engine information,
Altitude, speed. and so
altitude,
on.
speed, everything. And generally those devices record data. So that's how we. That's something
Thank
we
you,
use.
gentlemen.
So I did
Okay.
actually have just a follow-up question. Because earlier we were told that the injuries were moderate to minor, and you said varying degrees. So were there more serious injuries too, or?
Yeah, varying degrees from moderate to serious, and obviously with 2 fatalities, that's fairly serious. So we want to make sure that we don't give you guys information that's not accurate. So we did have minor injuries and we did have very serious injuries as well. And I do want to clarify, it was 19 patients were treated with 2 fatalities for a total of 21.
1920.
21.
And out of those people in the hospital, some of them are life-threatening, or we don't know.
I don't know. That I don't know. I just know that we transported several people to the hospital. We treated 19, and then we had the 2 fatalities for a total of 21.
What about the people who you treated on scene and released?
I don't have that information of how many people were treated and what those injuries were. In an incident like this, when you're dealing with that many victims, the rapid transport is paramount to that success. So we transport those patients very quickly with limited information gathered about the patients. The paramedics and the EMTs are focused on treating what they see and getting them to the hospitals.
Thanks,
Something-
Steve.
Yeah, you're welcome.
One more thing we didn't ask you. When the pilot, I'm sorry, this is for NTSB.
Pilot?
When the pilot made that change, that 180-degree turn to go back to the airport,
Yeah.
was there anything in his or her way? Any obstruction? Any other flight? Any
No, it was at the
plane?
not that we're aware of. And again, it's within the traffic pattern at the traffic pattern altitude, so there wouldn't have been any physical obstruction. As far as other aircraft, it's too early to tell right now. It was a busy day at the airport.
You mentioned at the beginning of the press conference that you will have findings in, you said, months?
Yeah, so 14 days for a preliminary report, and then the final report, 12 to 18 months.
12 to 18.
Yeah, on
Can you,
ntsb.gov.
spell your first and last name again?
Yeah, ELIOTTSIMPSON.
S-I-N?
M, Simpson. SIMPSON. Okay?
Say it one more time. Your whole name.
Yeah, Elliot Simpson.
Elliot.
And
Okay.
Chip, can you please
Thanks, everyone.
your name? first semester. Thank you.
Sorry, do you have any Spanish? I just got here. Do you have any Spanish?
Anybody that speaks Spanish?
No, sorry.
Not for all of this, unfortunately. Yeah.
Elliot, what's your title?
Senior aviation Meacham, one LCH.
Well, for what? We just try to ask essential questions. There comes a point we're getting into the weeds.
Like, we got a 9 o'clock. We gotta go.
Thank you.
Ismael.
Mr. Simpson, thanks much for putting up with this.
No problem.
That's okay. No. Oh, I thought you were throwing the.
Yeah, Deputy Chief of Fullerton Fire Department.
Yeah, it's the most popular kid. I should have mentioned it's the most popular kid.
Brian, where'd this go?
He is Michael. Michael Mitchell. Elliot is Simpson with a P. Simpson. Double L.
You do have someone in Spanish?
Elliot Simpson.
See that last Espanol, senor? No? Well, it depends. You can talk about
All we need is a couple of soundbites. What happened? How many people injured? What
You're not comfortable with it. We don't have to. Okay. No. Okay. If I would have known, I would have prepared for
Yeah,
it.
you're not comfortable. You're not comfortable.
Yeah, he's not comfortable with
We're
it.
not live. We're not live. Can you just give
Off
us
the top of my head, and you know you can go to
This face usually works.
It's just I don't have any Spanish, so.
Got it? I'm good, thanks.
I know, I.
Denora, they can stand by the
He's not going to give to us.
oh. Okay.
All right, okay. You're fine. Okay, so, and I'm gonna go listen back.